You are welcome. You are welcome. Feel free to inform a friend that we are getting started. We are all welcome. Welcome. Yes, Jerry. Do you have it? You are welcome. You are welcome. Today we're going to talk about mental health investments. We want to understand why it's important for us to invest in our mental health. So, deep down my heart, so much a lover of a good mental health. And today I want to speak about something that we often overlook, and yet it's very important. It determines the direction of our entire lives. That is mental health investment or the mental investment. We want to look at investing in our minds. How do we invest in our minds, and which kinds of investments do we make? Because we live in a world where people are investing in land, they're investing in businesses, in education, of course, in fashion. We keep, buying new clothes, shoes, new things all the time. We change our phones all the time. We change the appearances all the time, but very few of us intentionally invest in our minds. So, and yet, a neglected mind will eventually affect every part of your life. So, today I want us to understand that mental health is not a luxury, but it is a necessity. It is a necessity. So, invite a friend to join us onto this discussion. Okay, to those that have joined in, you're welcome. You can put a message in the chat and I get to know that you are with us. Just drop a message in the chat for me to know that you are with us. Drop a message. Hi. Drop a message for me to know that we are together. I welcome us. This is Tekel Mentorship and Coaching Program. And Sarah, you so much welcome. Hello, Coach Barbara. Kindly encourage our colleagues to be here because I wanted this session to be recorded. That is why I had to do it from here. I realized that we've had issues with the Google Meet. Recording is a problem. So I thought we can have it here. We can have it here for us to refer to it even after this. So Coach Barbara, help me tell each one of them to come here, and those that don't have YouTube, what are we going to use? They can be on which other platform? They can check out on TikTok, but I would prefer that we all be here. Coach Barbara, are you doing that? Okay. People that are watching us on YouTube, Isaac, Mugwanya, you're so much welcome. Today we are talking about mental health investment and why it is important in this era that we are in. Why do we need to invest in our mental health? Why do we need to invest in our minds? Because, like I said, for so long we've invested in our looks, we've invested in land, cars, phones, stocks, and so many things that we invest in, but we barely be intentional on investing our minds. And I would start by making us understand what mental investment really means. It's someone being deliberate and continuously putting effort into developing, protecting, and strengthening their mind, their thoughts, emotions, and their psychological well-being. Bw'oba nga ggwe omuntu ofuba nnyo okulaba nti odivolupinga mind yo, ogikuuma, ogigumya, like you strengthen it, you strengthen your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, and your whole psychosocial well-being. That is you investing in your mental health, just like we do financial investment. And we see that to people that are into finances, they know so well that finances grow over time or wealth grow over time. And also with mental investment, it builds over time, because when you keep investing in your mental health, it strengthens you from within. It brings about clarity, it brings about resilience, and it brings about emotional stability. Of late, we're having many of us. Coach Barbara, is there a problem? Okay, I want to hope that we are okay. Okay, sorry about that. So I was saying that when you invest in your mental health, it helps you build what we call the inner strength. It helps you to build what we call clarity. It helps you build resilience, and it helps you build what we call emotional stability. Of late, we're having so many issues. Almost each one of us is battling something. Each one of us is having like a mental problem. We're having episodes of depression back and forth. We're having episodes of anxiety back and forth. We're having episodes of mood swings back and forth. We're having so many things like literally going on with each one of us. But that is simply because, as a country and as individuals, we've not really purposed to invest in our mental health. And like I said, you investing in your mental health, or what I've termed the mental health investment, you choose to feed your mind with what supports your growth, what supports your healing, while you consciously avoid the extremities of what is draining it, what distorts it, and what damages it. So every time you choose to focus on things that grow you, every time you choose to focus on things that heal you, every time you choose to set boundaries that are going to protect your mental health, and you let go of things that keep draining you, things that keep distorting you, things that keep damaging you, that is you doing what we call a mental health investment. So I want to get into the different areas that we use if it comes to investing in our mental health. Number one area, the key areas of us investing in our mental state, or key areas of mental investment. Number one, there is you investing in knowledge. Yes, in knowledge. We are in a generation where knowledge is now a currency. If you don't have knowledge about something, if you're ignorant about something, you suffer the consequences for some reason. So I've realized that of late, someone investing in knowledge, it enhances a good mental health. So it's not now optional that, okay, I can do it in years to come. It is very urgent for you to really invest in your mental health, for you to invest in knowledge for your mental health. And in knowledge, I mean, you can have knowledge about different things that you know, if I understand this particular thing, it can help protect my mental health. If I understand how relationships work, if I understand how to manage my finances, if I understand how to maneuver difficult circumstances, if I have knowledge on the like basic things of life, if I have knowledge about planning, if I have knowledge about boundaries, if I have knowledge about spirituality, if I have knowledge about this and this and this, you realize many of us tutawano bongo, we get into depression, we get into anxiety, we get mood swings back and we are ignorant. So, ignorance can cost your mental health for some reason, you like it or not. If you are ignorant, it can cost your mental health. Amagezi gaino kubanga, it is part of you for some reason. Like wisdom has to be part of you for some reason. Sorry, I've gotten people that have entered in here. Okay, sorry about that. I've got people that have distracted me. I was saying that investing in knowledge, it's very, very important. Another area that you can invest in, it is investing in emotional health. That is you understanding your emotions. People that have been part of this mentorship program ever since we began in Feb, we've been learning a number of things from self-awareness, identity, like so many things. And we learned emotional intelligence. We learned how to be in charge and controlling our emotions. So if you invest in emotional health, you come to a point of understanding your emotions, you come to a point of processing them in a health way, and you come to a point of learning to regulate them. Not that every emotion is right at a certain time. You need to be able to know how to regulate your emotions. You need to be able to process them, and you need to be able to understand that at this moment of time, as gift, I'm mad, like I'm sad, or I'm happy, or I'm fearful, or I'm like this and that. That is you investing in your emotional health. You need to come to a point of knowing biki ebinjijjako waya, what triggers me so much, what makes me sad, what makes me happy, what makes me this and that. If you can put those things down and you understand them, that is you investing in emotional health, and that is you investing in your mental health. Another area is you investing in positive thinking. That is a hard pill. But we need to come to a place of understanding that the thoughts that we have, buli kirowoozo ky'olina, it shapes your reality. The mental investment requires you challenging every negative belief, and you replace it with something that is realistic, something that is constructive, something that is challenging you to grow. But if you live a life where all the time you are thinking negative, you get into a business and in your head you're like, it's going to fail. It has not failed yet, but you're like, it's going to fail. You get into a friendship, tegunaba kugana, but in your head you're like, guganye, this relationship might not work out, this friendship might not work out. You realize that you're sabotaging yourself. So by investing in your mental health, you need to invest in positive thinking, and it is something that we practice on a daily. That is why we all the time encourage affirmations every day in the morning. Sit down or look straight in the mirror and start affirming yourself that all things are working out for my highest good. I'm beautiful. I'm chosen. I'm this and this and this. I'm a hard worker. Like you speak good things about yourself. That even in moments, wala bila dalanti ebintu bibi to the extreme. Bibi dala 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 dala. You can be able to come out and be like, they are going to work out for me. You go for an interview, you feel like it has failed, or probably it even fails. You come out and be like, I'll get to another one and I'll pass it. So that is you having positive thinking. And that is required of us to have a positive mind if we want to enhance our mental health. Then you realize that there is investing in relationships. To people that have been part of this journey, part of this mentorship for so long, I've talked about this back and forth, that you need to surround yourself with one, supportive people, health people, people that are growth oriented, because if you do that, it strengthens your mental health. And then on the other hand, if we get entangled into toxic relationships, or if we get engaged to toxic partners and friends and everything, they drain us mentally. So, another investment, another key area that you need to focus on is investing in relationships. You need to make sure that the kinds of friends that you choose for you are very supportive. You support them and they support you. They are not toxic, they are health people, they are growth oriented. Tewali kintu kiruma kubeera na mikwano gyo nga tegirina kiddako. Like, for them, growth is optional. So for you, if you desire growth, they're going to see you as either a threat or as someone are pushing us so hard. So you realize that probably maybe for you overly ambitious, but for them they are very comfortable, very, very comfortable. Someone probably stopped in S4, and for them they are like, ah, that's okay to stop in S4. But for you in your head, you're like, no, at least I can go to senior 5 and senior 6, or maybe I can go and do a course, or maybe I can do this and this. So people that are comfortable with where they are, if you put them in your circle, you realize that at the end of the day, they are going to drain you, because you're going to reach a time when conversations are very different, because you've reached a certain level of growth, and for them they are still somewhere lacking, so that keeps draining you mentally all the time. Another area that we need to invest in is rest and reflection, because a health mind needs to rest, a health mind needs silence, a health mind needs reflection. Life is too busy. You realize that sometimes we be like, you will sleep in future. You don't need to sleep now. Why are you sleeping out your years? But then, as health workers, we will tell you rest is part of health. If you need to have a good health, you need to rest enough. You need to consider resting as medicine for you. And now in mental health, we will tell you, as a human being, you need moments of silence. You need moments of silence. To people that fear to even stay alone or be alone, you need to understand that that is not like literally isolation, that you're isolating, but sometimes it is you having space for silence and reflection. To people that are staying in homes, for example, you're in a home setting, you are 50 people, 20, 10, 5, and it's a busy home setting. You realize as a person, you need to set times whereby you need to have your moments of silence. You need to have your moments of reflection, because that is an investment in your mental health. So you realize that if you keep overworking your mind without pausing it, it leads to burnout, it leads to anxiety, it leads to reduced productivity. We had a session about this last Saturday: burnout, anxiety, reduced productivity. I think we exhausted most of these things. So key area of investment, you invest in rest, you invest in reflection. And I'll break it down for us as we get into understanding sleep as a mental health investment. Then another area, we need to invest in our spiritual growth. For many people, grounding beliefs, I call them grounding beliefs, or values and purpose, for them, it's a mental stability, and it helps to give life direction. But if it so happens that you're living a life that is not spiritually grounded, like when you just do life, you don't have, you don't believe in anything, you don't have any belief, you don't have any values, no purpose, nothing. You having your mind stretched back and forth unknowingly. So that means you are amongst the people that are mentally very unstable. But for some reason, if someone is grounded, if someone is invested in their spiritual life, in their spiritual growth, even in moments of things are hard, they have a place where they lean. They know that God is going to sort me out. This is going to literally work out for me. So if you invest in your spiritual life, it helps you to give mental stability. It helps you to give life direction and so many other things. I'm going tap into this because I want us to get into the gist of the day. But why does mental investment matter? One, it improves decision making and clarity. If you invest in your mental health, your decision making becomes top notch. Your clarity about things otuuka ekiseera nga waliwo conversations z'oteetaaga kuba n'abantu because I mean you be like, huh, my mind and their mind, we are at different levels. So you get that clarity and understand that this conversation, I can't have it with this person. It helps you to build resilience, even during stressful moments, during challenges. I always like saying that life will keep challenging us. Life will keep pushing us back and forth, either in school, at work, in relationships, in marriages, in leadership, in like in every sense of it, it will bring about its dynamics. But if you have taken time to invest in your mental health, you will be very resilient. Even when life comes off as stressful, even when challenges come, that you'll be like, next day, I'm going to be out of this. So it also does help to enhance productivity and focus. Some of us, if our bosses are genuine enough, they can always give us reports of, Gift, you're no longer performing well. Also, until you're no longer performing well. But sometimes they don't like to say those things. But in some workspaces, they say they can tell you that, your performance is dropped, probably in school to people that are studying. Your lecturers can tell you that, oh, your performance has really dropped. So if you have invested in your mental health, you realize that even your productivity at work, it doesn't really drop as much. You realize that your output is healthy, like it's not toxic, it's healthy because you've invested in your mental health. And also it brings about emotional balance because remember, you've invested in your emotional health. So if you are no longer the type of person atambuza emotions ze kungulu kuno, that akanti konna kakunyiiza, buli omu akunyiiza, like buli omu akujjako and all those other things, then chances are high that you've maintained the emotional balance. You know how to manage your emotions, you know how to deal with them, you know how to give people space when their emotions are all over the place. And when we get all those things, we get what we call long-term life satisfaction. Otuuka ekiseera nga you're literally very satisfied, not because you have a lot of money, but because you've mastered the art of maneuvering through life without stretching you mentally. So the simple truth is you either invest in your mind daily or life will shape it for you. So we can choose. You can choose. I either invest in this mind every single day by reading, ensuring that I grow spiritually, by resting and reflecting, by balancing my emotions, by getting knowledge and all the other things. But if you do not do that, life experiences will shape it for you. There are some of us that have entered into relationships very ignorant. You get into a relationship, nga toyina toyina magezi. Like you don't have enough knowledge of how relationships really work or even how friendships work. And then before you know it, you come out and you're like, for me and relationships, we are done. That chapter is closed. But because you lacked enough knowledge. And also, the Bible tells us that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So let's get started. That was just a brief of mental health investment. I want to welcome us, each one of us. I want to know in the comment section whether we are at par. Coach Barbara, do we have everyone here? Have people been able to join us? Okay, Lillian is asking what is the topic today? The topic is mental health investment. Okay, Coach Barbara is going to help me put it in there in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining in. I thought we can do this here because at the end of the day, I want us to have it reviewed after. There are sessions I thought we would have recorded and then we didn't record. And when I tried to reach out to each and every one of you, some people were taking me back to, oh, I missed this, I didn't understand this. And in my head, I was like, how I wish I'd recorded these sessions. I could just go back and share with them to go through the sessions we had. So that's why we are here. Kindly encourage our other friends to be here. And I would love any thoughts, any questions, any submissions. Let's put them in the comment section. I'll be able to answer them. Lillian, are we at par? We are looking at investing in our mental health or mental health investment. Last week I promised us that I'll teach us about sleep. So this topic is getting me into that. Yeah. But I wanted us to first start with a simple background of it. Then we shall get into, we shall, as we continue into it, we shall be able to handle the sleep part. Yes. So, like I said, I want to speak about something that we really overlook to people that have just joined us, and yet it determines the direction of our entire lives. That is the mental investment. Lillian, she's a financial expert. She talks so much about financial investment and so many other things. So today we are discussing investing and in our mental health. You've been investing in land, you've been investing in skincare products, you've been investing in so many things. So, but today we want to see how do we invest in our mental health? How do we invest in our mind? Because we live in a world where people are investing in so many things, in fashion, in education, in appearances. Donna can be attest to this. I one time reached out and I was telling her I need some skincare products. Like we're investing in so many things, and yet we keep neglecting the mind. But you should know that a neglected mind will eventually affect every part of your life. It will catch up with you. Either in 20 years, 30 years, it will definitely catch up with you. So, you investing in your mental state is not a luxury, but it's a necessity. You need to invest every single day. It is a necessity, it is very spiritual, it is very emotional, and it's a practical stewardship of the mind God has given us. God has given us the authority to take good care of our minds because even the scriptures in, I think, Proverbs, yeah, it's Proverbs 4:23 where it says that above all, guide your heart for everything you do flows out of it. So the mind is a field that must be cultivated. You need to nurture it, you need to water it, you need to look out for it. The mind is like a soil. Whatever you plant there repeatedly grows. That is why some of us right now are having what we call chronic stress or trauma that is been ongoing for so many years. But then when you sit down to analyze it, if you have a dango Charlie Muto when you were 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, but right now you're 30, 40, and all those things are coming back to you. You sit down and you remember the words your mother, your stepmother, your father, your brother said. Some of us have been in relationships that even ended like so many years ago, but still we carry on the words our partners then said. So because our minds are soils, whatever you put in there, it eventually grows. So if you plant fear, to some of us that have fear as part and parcel of us, If you plant fear in your mind, it brings about anxiety, and we know anxiety is a disorder. If you choose to plant lies, you keep lying to yourself all the time. It brings about confusion because time comes and you can't even trust yourself. You started by lying to people, ngobeera olimba abantu abalala, you thinking you're lying to other people, but then it catches up with you. You reach a time that you can't even trust your own words. You can't trust your own self. If you plant truth, it brings about clarity. If you plant hope, whatever you plant, it grows. Whatever you plant in the mind, it grows. Like I said, even the Bible talks so much about the mind. In Romans 12:2, which is a very common scripture that we all know, the Bible says, "Be thou transformed by the renewal of your mind, for out of it," we said in Proverbs, flows. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So transformation does not begin in the hands. You see these hands? Some of us are on a journey of personal growth, wanting to do better, wanting to be transformed, but transformation has never begun with these hands that you see. Transformation begins in the mind. Whatever you want to see manifest in the physical has to first manifest in your mind. Whatever you want to become, whatever results you want to get, buli ky'oyagala okutuukako, buli ky'oyagala okulaba, buli ky'oyagala okubeera kitandikira wano mu bwongo. You need to first envision it. You need to first have the whole picture in your head for you to be able to reach a point of now I'm this. It has to first start in your head. It has to first start uh, it being created in your mind. Even when the Bible tells us, is it in Habakkuk, okuba ekipande kyo okitimbe, that timber is in the physical. But before you come to kuchitimba, it has happened already in your mind. Or today once no planning, I'd want to, for example, what can I use? I would want to have this kind of family, the children, the husband. I want us to have a kind of home like this. I want us to have this kinds of businesses. I want to have a ministry that is big like this. All those things start in your head. They start in your head, then they come to manifest. So if in your mind you've been equipping it or you've been feeding it with the wrong information, the wrong experiences, the wrong things all the time, how are you going to manifest things that are good? So transformation doesn't begin in the hand, it begins in your mind. So the question is, okay, the question is not whether your mind is being shaped. The question is who's shaping your mind? Because, of course, we know it is being shaped, but we shouldn't ask, is it being shaped? We need to ask, who is shaping it? And I would love to know in the comment section, what is shaping your mind? Is it your family background? Are they the friends that you have? Is it you yourself? Like you're shaping your mind and you're like, oh, Sarah, you're not that beautiful. Sarah, you short. Sarah, you this. Sarah, you this. Are you the one shaping your mind? Is it your brother shaping your mind? Is it your mother telling you, for you, you're too weak, you cannot become this, you cannot do this? Is it your lecturer? Is it your pastor? Who is it that is shaping your mind? Because the people that shape us or the things that shape our minds are very, very key. And they either lead us to get into the transformation or we get stuck into the other version that is not good. So you need to ask yourself, who is shaping your mind? Is it TikTok? And what exactly on TikTok do you watch? The music you listen to, the movies that you watch, the conversations that you get engaged into, the things that you see, all those things are shaping your mind. I will talk about the decluttering and I'll teach us how to declutter our minds. So it is important for us to ask that question and answer it because what you feed your mind determines your future. Some of us are where we are now because of what we kept feeding on years ago. Oli awo w'oli olw'ebyo bye wa feedingizwa nti bye waliisa oba bye waliisa oba bye baakuliisa. so many years ago. But mental investment is about you consistently consuming things that are good for you. Like you watch out on things that your eyes are exposed to, your ears are exposed to. You watch out on who you spend time with. You watch out on what you believe about yourself. Because some of us are emotionally starving, not because we lack opportunities, but because we are feeding our minds with a lot of negativity. We are feeding our minds with a lot of compulsion. We are feeding our minds with a lot of fear. And that is very unhealthy. So if you want to genuinely invest in your mental health, you need to start being conscious about what you watch, about what you consume, either on whatever social media platform that you be on, what you listen to. There are certain conversation that you don't need to listen to them at not even at one point in life, but all the times you need to keep running away from them. There are certain people that I like saying that there is no bad person. There is no bad person, and there will never be any bad person. But there are people that are not good for us. It doesn't mean that they are bad people. It doesn't mean that Jerry is a bad person. No, Jerry is a good person, but he's just not good for you. He's good for another person. He has his own tribe that can manage him, not you. So you need to come to the awareness of saying, me as Gift, me as Barbara, me as Rona, this person is not good for me. I don't need to spend with them 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Well, yeah, even if it's a roommate, you can even choose and be like, if it's in a school setting, osalewo gambe se Mr. Jan saba kuchusa nfune roommate omulala oba ogambe we waba in a rent, people who rent with friends ogambe nti kansabe mukama mpa obugabirizi I get another partner. I rent with another person because there are people that are not good for us. As bad as it sounds, but there are people that are not good for us. The earlier you understand that, the better. Because people are doors, people are gateways, people are so many things in the physical and in the spiritual. So there are people that will never be good for you. And sometimes it depends on the assignment that you have over your life. Some people have assignments that are too big for certain environments. So, but that now goes, that takes us back to the spiritual part of it. You need to be very discerning to know that even this relationship, this boyfriend, this girlfriend, this fiance, this, yeah, they're not good for me. And it doesn't make them a bad person. What is it that you believe about yourself? Some of us, we are the weapon that are formed against us. We keep blaming people for so many things, but you don't look into yourself to ask yourself, what is it that I've kept telling myself for the past 20 years, for the past 15 years, for the past 10 years? And you keep thinking about what other people have believed about you or what they have said about you. And you forget that you have things that you've believed about yourself. You've believed that you're weak. You've believed that you can never. You've believed that you can never be rich. You've believed that you don't deserve to be in certain spaces. Now, your belief system is working against you. So, like I've said, some of us are starving mentally, emotionally, not because we lack opportunities, but because we are feeding our minds with so many negative things, comparing ourselves to other people, fearing for even things that have not even come into existence. You've not yet even gotten married, but you've started fearing, what if the man cheats? You don't, apparently, you don't even have a man. You're not in any relationship. Bakyogera batya mu Luganda, tewali akwogereza. But in your head, you're thinking, what if this man wakes up and cheats the man? You fear even things that have not come to, like, tebinaba kutuukawo. Watandise okukuba obufaananyi nga bakukitinzeeko, nga bakuzizzaako, nga bakukubye kibooko, byonna wabirowooza, watandise dde obbi you started manifesting them in your mind. And before you know it, you get into a relationship, nga gaya kukuba, and then you like, banange, but you already created the scenarios already in your head. Wamulaba nga dda nga akukuba and all those other things. So, If we say mental investment, you need to check yourself before you check out other people. You need to check yourself and see whether you are working towards enhancing your mental health or you are working actually towards destroying it. Are we together? I would love to know whether we are there with me. Like I said, you need to ask yourself, what are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you feeding your mind with? Because whatsoever you are sowing into your mind, you will reap. Even the Bible says it clear, I think in Galatians, that a man reaps what they sow. So you will one day, one time. So it's important for us to watch out. I talked about emotional health, which is part of mental investment. You realize that many people or many of us are living with unprocessed pain. Yeah. And I said in one of our sessions that we come out and we function outwardly. We function like we overfunction, but yet we are struggling inwardly. So we need to understand that healing is not a weakness. If you choose to heal and heal completely, it doesn't mean that you are a weak person. Healing is wisdom, it's not weakness. If you look at, I would refer to Jesus Christ himself as a perfect example. He cared so much for the emotional state of people. And when you look at the different assignments that he worked on. He restored broken hearts, not only just bodies. Of course, he healed the sick. He made food a miracle for food, for wine, water, and so many things, coming water. But he restored broken-hearted. If you invest in your mental health, it means you acknowledge the pain instead of denying it. You need to come to a point of understanding that I'm in so much pain. And you process it genuinely without running away from it. You acknowledge it, process it, and don't deny. Togan, I like using relationships as examples. To people that get rebounds, yeah? You've been in a relationship, it ends, and then you be like, yeah, I can move on. The next month, you get onto another relationship, like you get another person. But you've not established the fact that there is something that has just ended. There is something that I was part of that has really ended. So you move on and get onto another person. That is you running away from the pain. Ne bw'oba oli mugumu otya ng'ogamba nze relationships tezinkanga. If they leave me, I continue with my life. Jesus, you don't just continue with life. At least for what I know as humans, relationships make us and relationships break us. If a relationship fails, it doesn't leave you the same. N'abantu abeebuzaabuza, trust me, later they come to acknowledge that, yeah, this relationship messed me up. So it is important that we acknowledge that things have been messed up, that we have failed, that that job has ended, that relationship has ended, that career has failed, that exam has failed, and painfully you acknowledge it and not deny it. After acknowledging it, you seek help. Instead of hiding, you seek help. You don't have to sit with your pain and be like, I will manage, I will manage. Sometimes it's hard for us to manage on our own. But you pray to God to give you the right person that can offer you help in the area that you are suffering in. It is also important that we sit down and process our emotions instead of suppressing them. Wali olabyeko mu famire omwana abeera nga buli w'akaaba bamusirisa mangu, ye gw'okaabira kisirika, like, why are you crying, can you keep quiet, like bamusirisa mangu, they keep suppressing and suppressing. Oyo omwana akula teyalina freedom ey'okukaaba. So bw'osanganga mu bukulu bw'atuuka okusumulukuka okukaaba, they cry it out. Because in their childhood they were so much suppressed. Oba atuuka n'ekiseera ate mu bukulu nga era tasobola kukaaba because they were suppressed for the longest time. So you need to understand, to the parents that are with us here, omwana tomusuppressinga, let them, release off, let them release their emotions. Kubeera bw'anaakula, kubanga muteeka mu environment ey'okubanga they are suppressed all the time, they'll also be suppressing themselves and also suppressing the other people. So we need to understand that emotions are to be let out, to be processed, not to be suppressed. Even the Bible says in Psalms 147 that, of course, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wound. God Himself does not ignore emotional wounds. God Himself, He heals them. So you need to come to a place of telling God that I'm emotionally wounded. This friendship has broken me. This